We've consistently talked about Justin Jefferson and his greatness.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about Justin Jefferson, his bounce back is so big. Last week against the Cowboys, didn't really do a lot. This past Thursday against the Patriots, he jumped right back into the forefront. But what truly separates him as one of the best to do it early in his career? Currently, he has the most receiving yards in his first 3 seasons in the NFL, in NFL history, 4,164 yards and counting. So he's still adding to that resume. But, man, you've got a chance to see him up close and personal, his daily routines, and just seeing him tear up people on game days, man. What makes him so special?
I mean, so many things make Justin so special. Just a couple of things that to me stand out being a teammate, seeing him day to day in the locker room, and just his work ethic, how determined he is to be great. You can see, the hard work and dedication that he puts into his game, that he worked on in the offseason. Each and every time it shows up on on tape on Sundays, but have an opportunity to see it since last year. Coming into the year, like I said, he took it to another level. You could just see the burning fire and desire in his eyes, wanting to be a household name. And he's definitely deserved that in his first 3 years being the NFL history receiving yards recipient. That's real big. The league has been around forever, and for him to be able to obtain that type of stat within 3 years with all the greats, with the Randy Mosses and the Odell Beckhams, and the list goes on, and to be in that category and not let it phase him or change the way he go about his business is quite remarkable, man. I don't know if it's a LSU thing, or it's a Missy Lane and Mr. John thing, because they did a damn good job of making sure that he never let things get too big. Like he's never, the moment's never too big for him. You can almost tell that he's been there before.
And one thing I appreciate in regards to watching Justin Jefferson do his work on game day, Pat P, this is something that you oftentimes talk about in regards to receivers coming out of the ball game. If you guys pay attention to Justin Jefferson, it doesn't matter how many routes he runs, how many passes he catches, he's not coming out of the ball game. This man stays.
He ain't doing this.
He ain't doing this, or he's not just removing himself. I've been watching him throughout his career, and especially last Thursday night against the Patriots in critical moments. I mean, big time catches. He's not coming out. He's eating every rep. Every rep. I don't know if there's another wide receiver in the National Football League that plays as many snaps. And hopefully we can kind of get the information on this to see how accurate this is. I don't think there's another wide receiver that plays as many snaps as Justin Jefferson, because as you mentioned, Pat P, and you talked about this in past episodes, most wide receivers, they come out and take breaks.
Yeah.
They remove themselves. And it's not like coaches are telling them to come out. They remove themselves and get a break here or there, get some water, take a knee, chill out, and then they'll come back in. Justin Jefferson ain't doing that. He's not doing that, man. Guy's in tip-top shape, and hats off to the way he prepares to be able to do that. Do you think, and we understand, let's keep it real, the MVP is basically a quarterback award, but do you think Justin Jefferson could have his name sprinkled in that conversation, or should he?
I think he should, but I think it's going to be hard just off the simple fact, like you said, it's a quarterbacks and a running backs award, which sucks because, you can go down on lists, by receivers I felt that could have been, worthy of a MVP, vote, or even sprinkled in there. I can go with 2 receivers off the bat, Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson, hands down. The year Calvin Johnson had 2,000 yards and the year that Randy Moss had 21 touchdown receptions.
Yeah.
Although I know the quarterback is – go ahead.
I was about to say we got the updated numbers in regards to snaps. The only 2 wide receivers that have more snaps than Justin Jefferson is Scary Terry McLaurin, and Michael Pittman Jr. They're ahead of him. So Justin is number 3. But go ahead.
Yeah. And I just think, having, damn, you made me lose my dang on train of thought.
You're talking about Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, only two receivers that I felt like, that should have been in that, in that category was Calvin Johnson
and Randy.
And Randy Moss. The year that Calvin had 2,000, the year Randy Moss had 21 touchdown passes. But we all know the quarterback is throwing those guys the ball, but a lot of the time the receivers are bailing the quarterbacks out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the receiver have to catch the ball in order for the quarterback to get those stats. You know what I mean? So I think receivers that's having the type of year that Tyreek is having the type of year that Calvin had and Justin is having right now, they should be at least considered for that vote for sure.
I agree. And I think based on where we see it now, Justin Jefferson actually has some of the top odds for Offensive Player of the Year. He has a much better shot in winning that award than MVP. But of course, he has to continue to ball out, and you guys got to continue to win. He's 101 to win the MVP right now. And at that time, you're talking about Moss in 1998. Moss had 1,493 yards, 23 touchdowns. I'm sorry, in 2007, Moss had 98 for 1,483 and 23 touchdowns. So Justin Jefferson right now, with an extra game, I think he has around 1,200. He's right behind Tyreek Hill in regards to receiving yards. Clearly, he's a ways away from that 23 touchdown mark of Randy, but he probably will surpass Randy in regards to receiving yards.